Graduates, big up on a nice, clean self. I see you. Big up on a nice, clean self. I see you. What a way to jump on fast, mighty God. No, sir. Me hope so over here sit a little bit, because me not gonna be good today. No. Let me put on my camera so you guys can see me. Just so you guys can see me. Wait for it to focus. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to everybody. There's none so blind as those who cannot see. We're going to touch on a number of topics today, but I do intend at the very end to go in as something very kind of not so nice. I'm going to warn my regulars when it's time to exit. You understand? Yeah. But for now, let me hail up the graduates in the classroom. Prudence, good night. Girls are nice. Marenchas, Nama, big up your nice, clean self. Dawn, I see you, sis. Yvette, big up yourself. Carmen, big up yourself. Drea, 1969, big up yourself. Olivine, good afternoon from New York. Good afternoon. Andreen Harris, good night. Good night. Charmaine, big up yourself. Charmaine Walker. Karen Thomas, good evening. Joyce Rowe, good night. Flavia Vassal, good evening. Nicola Dixon, good afternoon. Michelle Stainrod, good evening. Patsy King. Jay, big up your nice, clean self. Incoming member, big up yourself. Good night. All right, Sandra, big up yourself. So I'm sure by now you've seen the topic. The Sightless, the Judas, and the Backslider. Now, graduates, I have deliberately remained quiet on these trending topics. Deliberately. I've deliberately stayed out of it. I said, you know what? I'm just going to let it do its thing and move on from that. But I think the time has come where I have to say something. You're always watching the dead Sean. Okay. Carrie. Well gone, Carrie. Christine. Hi. Yes, you are just in time, Clover. So yes, as I was saying, I deliberately stay out of some of these discussions, especially when they're too explosive. People are too up in their emotions and there's not a lot of thought happening, a lot of mouth first and thinking after. And I wait for the dust to settle. And that's when I tend to come out. So you guys who are used to my platform know this is how I operate. I never eat food when it's hot. You understand? That way I can come out with a little bit more objectivity. I can rationalize all the different perspectives. I can think and absorb everybody's viewpoints, and then I can form my own conclusion. I always like to listen to all the different sides of the story, right? It makes for a more well-rounded blog as opposed to an opinion piece. So we are going to go in it. The first thing I'm going to go into is this whole argument about the Planker Shop recipient, Kwame. Everybody have something to say about this recipient's blindness. There is this feeling all across social media that, in fact, Kwame is not blind. That it was one of the biggest hoaxes that was pulled over the eyes of the Planketarian donors and the ex-Planketarian donors in the history of the program. That's how they're handling it. Now, all of this stemmed from the 5-year celebration. I'm giving a background because not everybody on my platform is a Planketarian. So I'm not assuming. All of this stemmed from Kwame coming to the 5-year celebration. And it was a fantastic event. It was wonderful. It was all about 5 years of charity and social action delivered by 33 times 3. and hosted by herself at her home. So Kwame came into the picture. He was looking good. Everybody was commenting, oh, Kwame ever clean. And he started, having conversations throughout the event. And one of them was the most inflammatory. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to confess to you, graduates. The moment that comment came out, I actually screen recorded it and I dropped it in my group. I said, wait for it, because I knew that this was going to cause a whole avalanche of discussions. And so said, so done. Kwame stated that he was scrolling through TikTok. And when scrolling through TikTok, he saw DMG behind a garbage truck, blah, blah, blah. It was the time when she basically did a moment of charity with a lady who was working in the garbage disposal service. Instantly, it started. Oh, how can a blind man see? Oh, so Kwame could have see. Oh, so what 360 did say was true, because remember, this isn't the first time we have heard this rumor. It was stated before in a different time of history. Instantly, it went up, that clip from that video. And of course, the discussion started and the live started being held, and it was one big, and it's still a go on, people. It's still a go on. So I was like, let's just ignore this. Let's just ignore this. Ignore the temper tantrums, ignore the crazy behavior, ignore it all. He did expand on his illness. He spoke about the fact that he had glaucoma. And that it had spread across both eyes. Clearly a degenerative illness. Now, the whole argument or debate is whether or not this man can actually see, and if there was some point of deception. So I took the liberty of going through some of the past videos where Kwame was presented to Planka Shop. Now, you know, and I know that I am not in the habit of playing DMG's content. I'm not planning on ever doing that. I am just simply going to show a screenshot or an image of the relevant videos that I watched and analyzed, okay? Therefore, it is upon yourself or anybody else who has their doubts to then go and seek the said same videos and see for themselves, okay? I am going to be as objective as possible with handling this. So some of you may not necessarily like what I'm going to say, but be patient with me. All right. So let me find the things them. Well, and the people. I'm just going to shut that down. I want to make sure that the one that I want is front and center, that there is no sound coming out of this. Right, okay. Let me just make sure this is that. I have to go take off this. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Okay. Right, so let me just double check. So I've got June 2020, September 2020. We're gonna go for June 2020, that one. Right. Okay. And I'm just gonna pull it up to that point here. Okay. Right. Okay. Hmm. So let me share my screen. Give me a thumbs up when you can see this. All right. Give me a thumbs up when you can see this. I'm going to stop my video because I don't want any distraction. All right. Can you all see? Okay. Take a look. Take a look. Steady on the fingers, you know. Steady on the fingers and just pay attention. All right. So I believe we can all see this video, right? So I'm just going to jump ahead. Okay. So this is when he was first presented. This is what his house looked like before. This is his son. All right. And his son in this video, this is the, you know, when he got the freezer and everything for his juices because he made he make sok and sell it. That's what he used to do, right? Everybody remember this video? Yes. So this is him, how he presented himself when we first met him. So he was wearing these dark glasses, right? His condition, it definitely was in need of improvement, right? Throughout this video, even though he was receiving blessings, his son was always kind of on call in order to count the money, be his eyes, guide him around, and so on, right? This was literally how they operated. You can see here a picture of the child. He's doing all the counting of the money. And that is how he was first presented, right? His eye contact was very minimal. Yes, form his actual eye contact, very minimal with the audience, with DMG herself. He seemed to not be focusing on the voices in the room, but still communicating, right? So this is all the money being handed over, all being handled by the little boy, okay? This is him here receiving the money. He's not looking down. His whole body language suggests extreme blindness, right? Listen to what I'm saying, okay? This is how it's come across in the initial video. In the initial video, right? Okay, let me stop my share. So, given how he looks there, I mean, to be honest, just looking at him, he kind of has a very stereotypical look of a blind person with the very, very dark glasses. His whole body language suggests that he was awkward in his space, even though it was his own space. And that he was being led around. He was actually, and I can't be bothered to jump up and down on that video, but he was actually walking into the room and holding on to his son's shoulder. Okay. All right. Let's jump ahead. So we're going to jump ahead to, let's do September 2020. No. Yeah. So we'll do September 2020. Thumbs up again if you can see my screen. Yeah. So this is September 2020. Right. So you can see there's DMG. She's handing out the money. Right. And there's the son again, also present to help count the funds, to be his eyes and everything, very much present. If you look at him, he's once again sat there. He's wearing these dark glasses, the same kind of body language as the previous video. Okay. All right. The very same body language. All right. We're going to stop there. So that was in September 2020. Okay. I'm going forward now. We're going to go to, let me see if it's showing August. No, that's another June one. I think I already showed that one. Yeah, let's do August 2021. Okay. Let's do August 2021. So, of course, by now the house is almost completed, right? Everything's looking really good. Donors are seeing heavy evidence of how their money is being spent, right? All of that is happening. It's clear that, the building is being completed. It's not a joke. It's obvious to everybody that whatever they're spending on is happening. So here he is. He's not wearing any glasses. He does look a little shades lighter. Kwame Yarob. Anyway, yeah, he looks a bit lighter. But him this, he's not being led around. His body language is a bit more confident. He is more familiar with his space in this video. Lord Jesus, I don't want no sound, right? And DMG is there. This is when they were talking about the actual tiles. The tiles in the bathroom, they needed to be dug up. Do you guys remember that, Planka Shop? The tiles were too slippery. Now, this video is really important. Really, really important. The reason why this video is important is because in this video, DMG actually gave a reasoning for why she wanted the tiles to be dug up in the bathroom, which was the bathroom toilet area. She spoke about the fact that these were wall tiles, not floor tiles, and they were floor tiles on wall tiles on the floor, that it was extremely slippery. And then she used these words, when somebody tried to contradict why she wanted to dig up the tiles. She said, "Are you guys mad? I am not going to allow somebody who is visually impaired to actually use a bathroom like this and be at risk of slipping and hurting themselves." Okay? Now, I want you guys to understand why I'm pointing this out. Okay? There is a whole mishmash of terminologies being used so far. We've heard legally blind. We've heard visually impaired. We've heard totally blind. Okay. Now, glaucoma is an illness where there is, in fact, a loss of peripheral vision at first. If you were to actually Google, because some of them don't look up things, what glaucoma does to the eyes and how it presents itself, even in extreme cases, is that it gives the impression that you are actually seeing through a straw. Yeah, so it's a tunnel vision. You can see in a tunnel-like capacity. Your peripheral vision erodes and it gets worse and worse and worse. Now, visually impaired is when the structure of your eyes are damaged beyond repair, and obviously it affects your ability to see clearly. She used visually impaired in this video. Right. Now, she herself may not be aware of the difference when she said, like, we know that DMG sometimes she said things and, she said something and then she says something else, and you understand, because she just talk. But for you to be legally blind, I need you to understand that you don't need to be totally blind. Now, I'm saying that the way he presented himself in 2020, he appeared totally blind, as in he was seeing nothing but darkness. You saw from in that video, he seemed more confident. And even in this video here, he is actually now following where voices are coming from. He is able to look, in quotes, in the direction of the speaker. Yes? And appears to focus as opposed to in the initial videos. Now, I don't know if any kind of treatment or anything that he's doing with his eyes has made anything slightly improve. But from the onset, it looked worse than as time progressed. And that's the only controversial thing I really have to say. However, I need people to be clear in their understanding of the difference between visually impaired and legally blind, because visually impaired does not necessarily mean that you are, in fact, legally blind. So, according to the Jamaica Society for the Blind, and I'm just going to share this. To become a registered user of the web portal, because there's a web portal for that society, you have to be authenticated by the Jamaica Society for the Blind as legally blind. Legal blindness is determined by vision of 2200 or worse after corrective measures. So, for you to be considered to be legally blind, you have got to have vision of 2200 or worse after corrective measures. Now, when you have a vision of 2200, most of your peripheral vision is gone. However, you still have that tunnel-like vision going on. As it gets worse, if you can imagine the straw, because remember I said it's like seeing through a straw, right? So as it gets worse, that straw, it narrows and narrows and narrows. Yes? Vision has to be considered to be 10% or less than properly functioning eyesight. Now, a person who still has, say, 10% can still see outlines, blurred images, and so on, can follow sound and see that the sound is coming specifically from that person as opposed to the person beside. Do you understand? But anything less than that, it's difficult to make out. So it will be harder for them to focus or move their head towards the direct person. Now, it doesn't affect the ears, obviously, because everybody knows that once one of your senses are down, the rest of your senses are extremely heightened. So your sense of hearing is better if you're blind than somebody who has got their sight and the rest of their senses. Your sense of touch is also heightened. You can make things out by feeling, okay? You can make out, why do you think that when blind people are trying to figure out who they're talking to, they're touching your face? Yes, they don't want to forget what you look like. That touch gives them an image of what you can, in terms of what they can imagine. Yeah, it gives them a visual of what you look like. Same for objects. Now, when Kwame first came to Planker Shop, he was doing his chicken farming. You remember time did have the whole I cook them in the front, you know, with all the little chicken them and the feed and everything. Think about it. If he was totally, as in couldn't see anything at all, he would obviously have to rely on his uncle and so on, because he did have a few family members around, to do everything, construct it, take care of them, and so on and so forth. But he was able to do certain things. I believe, it's my belief, that the description that we heard was that when he first came was that he was legally blind. And that his glaucoma has its moments of ebbs and flow, because that can also happen. Now, when he first came on, he seemed far worse than he is now. That part is the part that I definitely noticed when I reviewed the videos. Right? He was not focusing on any voice. I've given you the dates. Go and have a look. He was holding his head more or less straight, even if the voice was coming from over there, so his head never swing. But as time progressed, you could see him doing this, right? Moving around freely. I mean, in the initial videos, he was holding on to his son just to walk around his own place. Now, of course, the haters are going to look at that and say, look, it was done to make it seem worse and so on and so forth. But guess what? It does not deny. It doesn't deny the fact that he could be legally blind and still have 10% of his sight. It doesn't deny it. Hold on there. Me just a talk, but me now look on the comments. Let me run up to the top. Okay. Where's everybody's sense of humor? Kwame can't make a joke. But you know what I'm going to say to that, Jenny? I don't even think he was making a joke. I think he was communicating like a normal human being. I genuinely think that he was just talking as at a point of normality. Blind people don't go around the place constantly reminding themselves that they are blind. They don't. Right? I did a quick Google, just looking for stories of blind people who act like they can see and stuff like that. There were so many of them. And it is really about them feeling accepted in society, and especially when they are in a familiar territory. It is more likely for them to act as though they can see, and they are seeing in their mind's eye what they think they're seeing. And even if we were to go on the basis of, say, he has 10% vision and he's not totally blind, he is capable then of scrolling through TikTok and looking at whatever it is through his tunnel vision. He may not see distinct features, but he can pick up on certain things. You understand? So doesn't deny the fact that he could be legally blind is what I'm trying to say. The facts are there. Legally blind does not always equal totally blind. Does not excuse the fact that he is in need, does not excuse, or he was, and does not excuse the fact that he needed the support in order to get to where he's getting to. What I find a little bit disturbing is the fact that people are going out of their way to try to make it look like Kwame did not need help at all, right? And also trying to bring him into, because we all know that them are going to go after Touch 3x3. That is what they live for. They all want to make her out to be this scammer, this deceitful person and blah. We know that. That's the drill, right? But Kwame himself, you know how Jamaican people stay? When them a get little pity and little mercy, sometimes they go on the most. I would have the first we see that, the pity poor thing kind of behavior, the first we see something like that. No, so we people stay. You know? The whole kind of me a dead, How you doing? Me a dead, You understand? Kind of making it's a hyperbole. You're just exaggerating how they really feel. You understand? And maybe this is how he came across because he wanted you people to know the extent of his desperation. I don't know. But he wasn't totally acting because the man has got an eye condition, and without the glasses, you can clearly see. There is one eye that is worse than the other. I can't remember if it's the right or the left. That his vision is affected and badly. But of course, when she comes out and she's trying to justify it and explain it and they're going to look at it as damage control. But really, what she's trying to do is to say, listen, not because he made that comment means that it's not there at all. And even the ordinary person in the street would be able to look in Kwame's eyes and see that his eyes are not okay. Glaucoma is a degenerative thing. It gets worse over time. So maybe the time will come, even if it's not now, when he is completely unable to see, not even a glimmer of light. So is it that we're going to wait for that and then say that the money was justified? Or while he can help himself and he can do one and two things for himself, you are able to actually give him that extension of his life and that support so that he can raise his son and he can live. I don't understand what people expecting. What are they expecting? If it's legal blindness, is the argument that he's not totally blind, is legally blind? I honestly think that in Jamaica, We are so loose with how we speak about certain things that sometimes we will say things and not really fully follow up the direct implication or meaning. Not everyone is as pedantic with their terminologies as they ought to be, especially when they are an inexperienced public speaker, which at the time DMG was only growing. Let me see what some of the people say. That's true, head teacher. May have a cousin who is blind and him do everything you can think of. So what you're saying. Right, he can. He is capable of doing everything within his environment. Of course, a lot of blind people, and I'm not debating that he can't do everything. I am just saying that a lot of the people who are arguing and saying that he isn't blind and it was a deception are missing the blatant evidence of his eye trauma that is present even in that 5-year celebration, right? And it is clear to me that even if he can do certain things, it is possible that in time he will need even more help. But for now, he is able to do things completely blind, totally blind, or partially, whichever it is, there is an element of blindness that registers him as legally blind. You understand? I believe you. I know a lady who is blind and cook, wash, boil coconut. But look at how many things we came across him doing. Him kill him chicken, him sell him chicken, him do him suck, him sell that. You understand? And he is familiar with his environment. I was listening to Nige Boy and was saying, make me see the light out, but Nige Boy is totally blind. You see? Exactly. He's totally blind. And even Nige Boy's eyes are definitely, there's evidence that there is nothing going on. I'm a glaucoma patient and I see the doctor 2 times a year and have to use my drops daily. Glaucoma is when the pressure behind the eye is very high. I had laser done to bring the pressure down. Yes, very good. And even that in Jamaica is very expensive. Right? He was the only recipient I was able to contribute to, and I'm very proud of Kwame. My little 2 pence was well spent. It was well spent. And you know, to be there clamoring to get your money back, can you not blatantly see that the money was spent so well? It was spent so well. Yes, the house looks amazing. He has got the means under which he can survive. He still well, the last video I saw with the house and everything, he had his chicken coop moved to the back of the house, right? And he's able to manage independently off Planker Shop. You know, I don't know why it is that people are now saying that they want back their money and stuff like that. You didn't give it with a good heart. You didn't give it with a good heart if that is how you're looking at it. Because you can clearly see the trauma to his eyes. Kwame did spend his money good and damn proper. Yes, and look how quickly he went up with the house. It was so fast. He did it with such ambition and drive. A lot of people would have said, oh, well, because in blind, it might have delayed. It never delayed anything. There was constantly work going on until that house was completed. I had an auntie who used to travel from Kingston to church and bog walk on a bus, and she just tells the driver where she's going because she's totally blind. Okay, so this is what I'm also trying to explain to people, that there is indeed a difference, right? And perhaps there needs to be some clarity in terms of the terminologies that are used when describing recipients. And there's nothing wrong with asking for that. It is not an insult towards DMG. It is really about saying, listen, let's be very clear here. Is it total blindness, partial blindness, legally blind? If he's legally blind, what percentage of blindness is he? Can, you know, is it degenerative and all of that? Because a very solid and undebatable background story is important in terms of transparency. And I know that this is why people are going off the rails, but really what is the core? There's nothing really, because him still have an eye problem. He's still not able to manage without assistance. You understand? And the government is not going to do everything that DMG did. So it was still money well spent. Big up yourself, producer Wade. It was still money well spent. It is not fair to cast judgment on this young man. Exactly. They don't understand his blindness. And I don't think it works to get all emotive about it or offended, because I'm conscious that people were commenting on DMG's platform and DMG had to kind of go into doctor mode to answer it, which was good. But don't get offended, because people are just really wanting clarity. Some people don't really know how to go about it. They're doing it in an aggressive way and they're trying to blame you and call you a scammer. But there's nothing wrong with simply saying, listen, okay, this is it. Okay. He is X. That is it. Your money was well spent. You saw exactly how the money was spent. His illness is this, and this is why he needed the help. End of story, draw a line, move on, don't even talk about it anymore. But people, the video they were showing wasn't the full video. Even when the guy was passing with the cooler touched his pant leg and he moved his leg, yet they're saying different. There you go. That is it, HTK. Most do not understand his blindness unless they're in his position. Yeah. You know, so I think that really and truly we were not surprised, because I knew that people were going to jump on it, because that is how it is with Planka Shop. Literally everything that is done over there is super analyzed. It's over analyzed. It's always turned over looking for the worst things, right? And sometimes in terms of communicating, all you have to do is simply ask the question, can you just clarify what kind of blindness did this person have, for those who donated? I don't care about the ones who didn't and just pushing them out in. I mean, the ones who donated, right? Rather than getting so worked up and going, oh, I want back my money and yes, scam and this and that. There's nothing wrong with asking the question, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with giving a response to donors. Notice I said to donors. You understand? Some of these people too enough. Most likely it's the people who didn't give a penny. That's what I was saying. Exactly, Karen. I grew up in Jamaica. This blind man, he did everything. Only time he needed help is in going a far distance. When blind people, as I said, because the rest of their senses are so alert, they learn their environment very, very well. They can be seen walking around without any kind of stick, without anything, because they know their way. They have been there for years. They have a familiarity with smells, sounds, the feel of the ground, everything they're sensitized to. So, at the end of the day, I think we also need to give Kwame some credit. He has done extremely well for a young man with his illness and to raise his son, right? Look at his son, because his son is in fact a child caregiver. That is pressure for a young man. He has to be his father's eyes, in some instances, with unfamiliar territory. So where the money is concerned, Kwame didn't know how much money was there. So that son being there is a help to him to be his second eyes. So he has to raise his son responsibly, given the fact that he has care duties. I think some of you out here are merciless. And in your quest to tear down one person, you are bringing down the vulnerable. And that part of it is quite painful to observe, which is why I deliberately stayed out of it. Because I was like, something, I really don't like this. And I don't want to come out here and really start to cuss off any other bloggers or anything like that. I'm not interested. Right. I think bloggers have a right to speak on their platform about whatever subject, but I don't think it's fair that this young man is ending up bearing the brunt of it as though he was a deceiver. I would say that perhaps he, was showing you the worst it could be at first, because to be honest, it did look worse. It did. Him did look worse at first. And if you go back to those videos, he did look like he literally couldn't even maneuver in the place that he was in. But as time progressed, you could see he was more and more confident. And not only that, he was now rebuilding his house. He knows inside out what it was and where everything was and stuff like that. So, an increased sense of comfort and all of that would make him relax more and all of those things. So I don't know why we are questioning the obvious, because you can see it. You literally can see it in his eyes. Look at the film of Ray Charles, how he learned to be independent when he lost his sight as a child. I'm telling you. But even if Kwame not blind, DMG would have been deceived also. Why chastise DMG? This is the other thing. Look here. It wouldn't be the first time that we have seen DMG fall under deception from some of the recipients. We've had our little cases where the recipients them never tell the truth and stuff like that. But you see, Kwame, I don't know. With him, I saw somebody who truly had ambition and wanted to do something with his life for him and his son and was truly grateful. He was one of those that was always very grateful for the help that he received. I don't see somebody who was living in luxury and just came to take advantage of Planka Shop. I don't see somebody who already had everything going on. Even when you look at the original video, the condition of the house was not, it was not satisfactory for a blind person with a child, right? So to get him to the point where he is now is something to be proud of. And if you were a part of the fabric of that, you should be proud of the fact that you were a part of that, right? If the man said he must scroll through something and I see and stuff, they speak like that. A lot of blind people speak like that. It's not enough to run with. You understand? It's not enough to run with. If he can climb a ladder in his own yard, that's not enough to run with. That's his own yard, his own ladder that he would have felt and climbed more than one time. He would have been in familiar territory. Unless you have got evidence of Kwame out in the streets, any random place, just a walk up and down without any guidance, I communicate with people and I heal people and whatever, and somebody are calling from way over yonder, and him a answer and I turn around and I spot the person and I talk about, oh, me like your red shirt and all these kind of things. And until you have that kind of stuff, you really haven't got anything. Yes, it's a family illness, Colleen. That is one thing that 360 did say that was correct. I happened to do my community service at Jamaica Society for the Blind while at uni, and you'd be alarmed to see the things these blind people can do. There are apps for phones and computers. I was about to get to that, Jay Summer. Correct. Yes, there are definitely a lot of access apps that are out there to facilitate people with these disabilities. I don't think he can see these people too wicked. Absolutely. HTK, they don't remember Kwame was not the one. She went there to help. It was his mom and she refused. Yes, exactly. I am a proud planker that helped him. He was very deserving. I think he was. That's right. Familiar surroundings. He is in familiar surroundings. You guys have no leg to stand on. None at all. And it really is a shame that you guys look for every single thing to overanalyze in order to tear down this one lady who you are hell-bent on claiming is a scammer. And that's what I see happening, right? Because at the end of the day, if you go backwards, there is still evidence that he has got visual problems. Even in the videos in the past, you can see the stuff on his eyes. You can see that one is going in one direction and the other in another. He clearly has got a dysfunction with his eyes. And if he's legally blind, he doesn't have to be totally blind in order to be legally blind. And that is the only point that I wanted to make about that. All right. We're going to move on now. Yeah? We're going to move on to the next part of the subject, and we're going to talk about the Judas now. We're going to talk about the Judas. Oh, Jaja. Let me take a little drink. I want to have a drink, graduates. Make sure to have a drink, on a drink on a juice. Mm-hmm. Drink on a juice, drink on a juice. Ah. Okay. The Judas, the Judas, the Judas, the Judas, the Judas. All right. HDK is about to have an unpopular opinion. I need a t-shirt. HDK is about to have an unpopular opinion. Get a drink water, oh yes. Father. Lord Father. Whoa. All right. Cheers. um Now, no names in the comments. I was even reminded by one of my graduates to tell you guys to keep your fingers steady, okay? Don't put any names of anybody in DMG's team. Don't do it. We're just going to talk about and refer to the person as Judas. Okay. So I don't know if you remember on my last live, I said that one of the things that would really make me happy is to see DMG move out of Mountain View, right? I don't know if you remember I said that, right? Okay. I knew why I was saying that. Okay. So and not even the closest to me know why I know, right? Okay. But I said to her in that last live, DMG, you know, and I know. Okay. All right. You see, this is the thing. When you present something like this to Planka Shop, DMG, every single one of them are feeling your hurts. You know how connected your audience is to you. All of them are going to run up and down, a place CSI, FBI, and all these things. Planka people very clever. Not no past them. Mm-mm. And of course, by process of elimination, they're going to know what's up, right? Okay. They're going to know who the Judas is. In fact, they've already started action. You know this. You know that's what they're going to do. Because the way we see you treat your staff, the things we see you do for your staff, most employees would only dream that their boss would do that for them. The sense of betrayal is going to be very, very deep in terms of how your audience feels about it. Now, I remember an incident that took place in Planka Shop. And people were raising the red flag. And they said they didn't like how that person spoke to you. They said that it was a sign of disrespect, of feelings a carry. Do you remember your response? Do you remember your response? Okay. All right. So I am going to go on the basis of your initial response. Cockroach no business in a foul fight. Me no have nothing to say about anybody that was in your team or currently. No criticism, no harsh judgments, none at all. Because sometimes, instead of listening to the people who are observing objectively, you think that the people them might be a mess. I know, Jay. Chill for this one. I know you don't watch it. And sometimes it's a little text sleep mark that. You understand? So on that basis, we get moved. Trinity said we get moved. Yeah. You understand? So on that basis, the whole of we know very cautious, because we're not able, because you is also a very forgiving soul. When me say you forgive it, you forgive it. Listen, we don't know what kind of forgiveness you have, your forgiveness, Your forgiveness out of this world, And me, I want my graduates. Me can't want anybody else. Me can't only want my graduates. Graduates, uno keep uno kin quiet, Uno keep by uno self. Uno no go over to nobody page, go type up nothing, go cost nobody on behalf of no DMG. You hear what me say to uno? Don't do it. Because while she's hurting now and it's painful, and yes, it is deservedly painful because the signs were there, we saw it, you never paid no mind, right? And then worse because of the person it is and how the things go down. Of course, it's going to hurt you. But just as you corrected us, I personally think you should have hold this one and don't say anything. That's why when I shared your post, I said, hold it. Don't share any more about it. Handle it offline. One good thing you said is, Plankatarians, if you don't see this person around, don't ask me about them. Anybody you don't see in Planka shop, don't ask about them. But it's not hard for us to see. You understand? It is not surprising that one so close can do so much harm. Because it's only the ones that are closest to you. It's not your enemies out of street where you have to worry about, the strangers them, Because say them person and I like you, right? Whoever whoever is a stranger out there so when I like you, you're aware, right? You're already alert. It's the ones you drop your guard around. The ones who know you inside and out. The ones who know your point of weakness and your point of strength. Those are the only ones that can actually do you harm. One of the reasons why a lot of people who get successful in the ghetto move out of the ghetto, because there is a danger. I'm not saying there isn't a good side as well, but I'm saying, listen, there's a danger when you are rising financially and materially and living amongst the poor, some of whom are extremely poor, not borderline, but extremely. There's a real danger of living amongst them with your physical wealth. And it is a constant, what I call a juxtaposition. It's a big word, but it's that contrast between what they don't have and what that person has. While it can motivate some from that environment to want to lift themselves up as well, it can also create a sense of jealousy and envy because they are constantly reminded that they don't have what you have. It is very much our mentality as Black people. Them call it crab in a barrel, right? And it can affect sometimes the least likely suspect. Not everybody can celebrate other people's achievements without feeling a sense of loss or demeaning for themselves. It's actually a very few and far between traits. Most of your followers celebrate your success, but remember, it's also from a distance because they are virtual. When you are living amongst people and they are seeing you on a day-to-day basis, And some are actually coming into your households, knowing you on a personal level and so on. You'd be surprised how much jealousy can be stirred up by the simplest things. I've experienced it. Sanika say, HTK, hold it. That will not happen. Big fish in a small pond. True, true, true. Yes. But HTK, that too hard to hold. Mighty God, man. I know. It is hard. But she's already given enough. I'm trying to say, hold. Don't go into too much detail and so on. Because you also have to remember who the person is. And you also know what your Planketarians can do. Because anytime Planketarians say beer badness back at that, a badness back at that, you just need to understand that you don't want to put that person in that position. And you know the heart that you have. You know the heart that you have. You know you are very forgiving. Right? And it may take a while. It may take a while, right? But you never know. We may very well see that same person right back in a planka shop at some point. And we'll have to accept it. So I'm saying, don't put us in that position where we get so emotionally caught up and riled up that we then lash out as your followers and create irreparable damage for a situation that you yourself may eventually turn around and forgive in a certain period of time. You never know. Yes, it felt like something was digging her stomach. It's not good for the heart. No. And of course, given the situation as well, who around her can she trust kind of thing? Sometimes it's easier to trust a stranger than it is to trust somebody near to you. Because you know that the people who are following you are not there to judge you. Your supporters, they're not there to judge you. They're there for you. So you almost feel a sense of comfort. Like I feel a sense of comfort with my graduates that you guys understand me, you know, the kind of personality I have and so on. So it's like I will feel more comfortable sometimes to come here and offload and say certain things that if I was sat in the room next to somebody else that's not my immediate family, I wouldn't be so comfortable to talk about, you know? Imagine you're supposed to be in a safe space, that's her home, and people recording you. I know. Don't ball out nothing. No, Chanel, not do it, not do it. It's not even the hurt, is who the hurt. I know. It's sad. It's very, very sad. And a lot of us felt it, right? But I'm saying that remember who she is. Remember that she herself may forgive this, right? And I'm saying that as much as we're aware, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised, right? It's always those that are near to us that cause the most pain. It's always them that feel that they can almost get away with it. You see what I'm saying? So it isn't surprising as much as it's surprising, it's not surprising, if that makes sense. If you look at how history repeats itself. Yes, when you think about all the betrayals, the greatest betrayals in history are people who are close. Look at the real Judas and Jesus Christ. He ate at his table. Do you understand? He was considered his brother. And he sold him out for 30 pieces of silver. So at the end of the day, if we look at those examples, right? Julius Caesar, who not only was betrayed by those other members of the Republic, but also by his very best friend, Brute, which is why I put that little quote when I did a et tu, Brute. Yes? So sometimes it's the ones that are very, very close to you have to watch, especially as you rise and they are not necessarily rising at the same rate as you are. In addition to that, it's something to reflect on in terms of how much access you allow where your donors are concerned. All of this I know eventually might change, right? And we know why it might change. But I'm saying for now, until the structures and whatever is necessary is done, we have to be careful when it comes to donors' interactions with staff. Boundaries need to be put in place. You understand? Boundaries. And it's going to be looked at as though maybe you're blocking a blessing. But if you allow the blessing to go through you, the blessing won't be blocked. It will be monitored and evaluated. Monitored and evaluated. Because the thing is that, likewise, donors are left with the potential for exploitation, and you don't want that to be ever facilitated because of the access you've given your staff, or your staff has, because you may not have given it, it may have happened. But, you know, through the access that your staff has to your donors, right? I think boundaries need to be put in place, as in publicly declaring that under no circumstance should donors establish any line of credit or any line of gifting directly to staff, excepting through the management of your charity. Yes, as a gift or whatever, because you know people want to do that. They want to gift your staff because they see how hard they work. But when it's taken off air, offline, and it goes directly one-to-one, that's where there is a real danger. And it's just something to be aware of. Good advice to her HDK. Watch the Haitians them I go say yes. I saw the boss so the boss send out our plankers after people when them decide. I don't care what they have to say. Honestly, these people don't pay my bills. That would be hard to do though with so many donors. No, it's not. It's not there. It's not hard to do at all. It isn't hard to do. It just means that there needs to be a dedicated administrative process just for that. And it really is about making sure that it's also not over the top. Right? Yes. You've got vulnerable people that you're working with that you want to benefit from the program. If it is that your members of staff are vulnerable as well, then perhaps they need to be a recipient and not a member of staff. You know what I'm saying? And then get them sorted and move on. But at the end of the day, what we can't have is them having permanent access to donors and then capitalizing on that to the disadvantage of the actual program itself. She said she was going to buy her a car and she stopped the purchase. Yes, I know. That's why I'm not look, I'm tired for shame. But HDK, how is she going to put boundaries when her very right hand is the one accepting most gifts since hey, Cocoa Puffs. You don't know that. You do not know that, Cocoa Puffs. Be very careful with what you are saying. All right? You don't know that for sure. Me not comment on that one. She need to be careful. But yes, you're right in terms of it also includes that person. It also includes that person. She needs to be careful of the donor as well because the donor needed the info and feed into it. Also pay to get it. And when they didn't get the real thing, they need to hear them boss bun. Jesus Christ. Anyway, she can't control which donors donate to her staff, but she always tell them if they receive anything, they should come and say it. And this is where it can't be done like that, Daily Musings. She may not even be able to control it, but what she can do is make it clear that she's not for it. And therefore, if anything happens, then it's nothing to do with her and should not come to her. And it's their own responsibility and liability. She needs to make it clear that you didn't come through me. So if you go and get yourself involved with somebody and get yourself scammed, that's your business. Take it up with the authorities, right? But my stance is that she should be saying it needs to come through my awareness. It needs to, even if she herself isn't doing the whatever, to say, listen, I am going to X to this person, right? Every time. And if they keep doing otherwise, she's not going to have any tabs. Information is going to be mismanaged. Lies are going to be told. There's going to be a messing up of the water. All kind of things are going to go on wrong. You understand me? All kind of things going to go wrong. But like I said, and like I've always said, there's only one thing that can fix all of this mess, and that's registering the charity. There's only one thing that can fix this mess. Having a charity account. Only one thing. Yeah. She always tells a worker that if they must tell her, because when things crap up is her name called. I know, but they're not gonna do that. That is so rude though, to beg people you don't even know. Jaja. She tells them that too. She said it all the time. Okay. HK, you are such and what, Audrey? Audrey, what are you saying? The word ain't there. She did say so. She asked them to show the stuff, but they are greedy. This is what I'm saying. You can't leave it up to human nature. Human nature is always going to let you down. They are always going to let you down. Human nature is always going to go against whatever instructions that you're given. Disobedience, hello, from Adam and Eve. We are just, it's sin is in the blood. You understand me? Never ever trust mankind. This is the time when you need to realize that you have to almost predict that they are going to betray you. Predict it and risk assess it. A risk assessment is something that every business manager needs to do. You do it all the time. Like, for example, when you said on that live that I watched, the first live of with Kwame, you said that, listen, no, it wasn't the first, I think it was the second, that you wanted to turn up there and some man had wanted to give something to him. And he wanted to be alerted the next time you were going to visit Kwame, and you told him that, you listen, I don't even tell my staff when I'm going to go and visit. And I don't give them notice. I just literally call them and say I'm going there now and I want them to come. So that is about risk management, safety. Yes, making sure there's no opportunity to plan anything that could make things go awry. So you are already risk managing. So all I'm saying is sit down and risk assess your staff, literally make a chart, think through carefully how each member of staff could possibly be led down a path of lack of transparency, and outthink it. I don't know your operation as deeply as you, but this is just a project management process. Think carefully. How can I stop this from happening, that from happening, or at least minimize the risk? Because sometimes you can't stop it, you know. Sometimes it's about minimizing the risk. So on multiple occasions, DMG told her staff to always make her know she got backlash for being jealous. And that is why she needs to make it clear this is not about jealousy. Now that you have seen what has taken place, clearly I can't be jealous. It really is about protecting my brand, protecting the actual program. And anybody don't like it can step. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you have to be harsh. This is not the end of it. Wait for more donors to come out. Exactly, HTK, it's human nature and it is something sometimes unavoidable. That's right. And she gives them whatever they need without hesitation. I'm telling you, and you know how much time I see this lady go out with these members of staff. And not even a water them can buy her before. It's like, say, if she not say, then no can buy me a drink. It's always expected that she's the one shelling out until, you know, they do occasionally do some little nice things for her or whatever. But I'm talking about, you know, in the day-to-day runnings of the business. Bad man is worse saying we have some people will out even their mother for money. HTK, the family member, told me that her charity is registered and showed me proof. Jamaica Queen, you chat too much. Shh. Where you get this from? Huh? I know everything good for eat, good for talk. Where you get this from? Mighty God of you see someone on a finger, you know, finger go give no problem, you know. Mighty God of Daniel, uno really not know for keep on keen. This person is worse than Judas because this has been going on from last year. The person accepts invitation and all expenses paid trip, knowing what they are doing. What? Why? The person have no heart. Understanding. You hear me say me not say nothing? Steph, you hear me say? Listen. He that keepeth his mouth, yeah? Me not talk about nobody, people. Understanding person, you know exactly what you're talking about. Keep up the good work. Okay. All right, Audrey. I was on the person, her charity phone, and that is how they get in contact with the donors, HTK. I know. Taking stuff is one thing, but how would you carry out someone business and personal business to other people? That's crazy. It's not crazy. A people event. A people a chat people. Everybody chats somebody. But you know, sometimes some of us know say, listen, that person is special, me not cross the line. There are times when we all chat people. You understand? But you can't do things that will leave a person you are supposed to love and care for vulnerable. That part of it. It's like you just open out our belly button for the world to see. Why would you do that? Why? If you felt that you were being, and I'm speaking directly to the Judas now, if you felt that you were being maltreated, if you felt that you were being handled badly, why didn't you leave? Is so you like sweets? Hmm? One hand cannot clap. I'm wondering what led up to all the information being given out. Well, we know that obviously the person clearly felt comfortable to speak about it to the person who was giving the money. Judas too greedy that lady give her a lot. She's also jealous of her co-workers. I comment on a live this morning. I'm one of the donor who was told a lot of lies about DMG. Okay, Jamaica Queen. You have to hold certain things, okay, my lovely? It's not everything you fit type. You have to keep yourself. You understand? Just make the cards fall where they lie. Hence the reason Auntie said yesterday she did something and told her that it was exposed to people. Most of the staff numbers were put out on social media. Donors reach out to them too. I said a family member told me I'm not holding back nothing. The person is a devious individual. Jamaica Queen. Jaja. No, sir. No, sir. Me telling the boss about Uno. Why you have to don't say anything? Don't type anything more. Don't type anything more. These people, you see these people that talk too much. They Lord have mercy, Father God. If you see me dying, trial you today. Because me not understand. No, sir. You can imagine how the woman upset. Yes, so you know the Lord Jesus, the person even should shush. Thank you, Norma. Listen, stop, Jamaica Queen. Stop. You see that now? Me can't save you. Admin hide you. You see that? Admin hide you. Admin time you out. Behave yourself. No, sir. My God. Listen to me. Me not tell, but I don't tell you to say I don't bust news over here. I don't bust news over here. I don't bust news over here. Me telling you say me learn me one lesson the one time me come up on social media and bust news, you know. And me not do it again. Me no want bust no news. Make the news bust a street. And we do the analysis and the rebutting over here. I am not interested in bursting any news. So uno keep on a finger quiet. See me admin them I go block you. So stop it. Don't talk too much. And everything good for eat, good for talk. Why wanna stay so? No, man. But all I'm saying is the public is aware. They have their suspicions. They know based on the things that you have said, who you have said to leave alone, who you haven't said to leave alone. They've done the process of elimination. I'm saying now that you have essentially left that person open for because you know, so we have different type of planker, right? We have the planker them that is very respectful and they will just behave themselves. And then you have the planker them like Jamaica Queen, right? We're going to run out and do the things them. You understand? And I'm saying that you go do that now, and then no, later on down the road no, right? After them one day like that one day, go do them bad things, right? To this person, and then you turn on and say, I have forgiven. Well, them are gonna look stupid, and people are gonna feel away. That's why I said hold it. You understand? You've said enough. People figure out them not we're not stupid, right? But it's always the ones that are closest to you. And I know it hurts and I know it's painful, but I'm telling you, don't be surprised. And I'm telling you, really sit down, make a chart of everybody that works with you. Risk assess them. Look at them like you don't know them. Look at their involvement in your processes. How much involvement do they have? You understand? And it really is about setting those boundaries to make sure that transparency is, in fact, transparency with communication. And that they don't try to undermine your processes by getting too chummy to donors to capitalize on them. Lord have mercy. Here there. Jamaican Queen is back on belly right. Look here now. Oi! Una behave on yourself. I don't want anybody calling Jamaica Queen. No names. I don't know anything I don't know who Jamaica Queen is. I don't know anything about Jamaica. I supposed to see my type up over here. So listen, uno behave on yourself. Okay? Behave on yourself. Behave on yourself. Jesus Christ. No, sir. Right. So we're moving on. We move. Done Cora now. We move. So the next part of the life now is about the backsliders. You understand? The backslider. So me da go run one place around a one part. And I heard a particular blogger who shall remain nameless having the audacity to speak about the fact that 33 times 3 is no Christian. How 33 times 3 is under the wrath of God or some I use the exact word, so no quote me. That basically God dash her away long time. God dash her away from listen to me. Listen to me. You know why it is that people like me will never go back at church? Honestly, you know, at least me probably shouldn't say so. Maybe when me don't know, maybe one time something might happen in our life. But I'm telling you, you see, uno what claim say uno a Christian. You see, uno we talk about God every minute. Uno is some of the most judgmental, cruel people that I've ever seen. 1 minute you're tearing down. Next minute you talk about God. How is it that you know the state of somebody's soul more than your own? How you know what in a God mind towards somebody more than your own? Are we not all children of God with equal access? How is it that you seem to sit up on the right hand of God and know who him reject and who him not reject? You see how some of them are demonic in other ways? Hmm? And this is why many people get turned off of Christianity and won't have anything to do with it, including myself. Because it is you ones who 1 minute, oh, the Lord, I just want to give him thanks for this and that, you know. And the next minute, on a depan, God know why you. Me hate that person there. Sick souls. Sick and twisted souls. And who backslide more than uno? Now what day you there? You're there on live on TikTok. I talk about every minute you backslide because you fornicate. Hmm? So why it is that this lady can't have her own spiritual journey? Why is it that she has to go at a faster pace than Uno? I don't understand. For you to say something like that shows that you're a wicked person. Yeah, I said it. You're a wicked person. If I said that God rejects somebody, that God turned them back on somebody, what you know? If somebody like you can still call God name in your mouth and lightning will strike you, leave the lady alone. HK, God is a merciful God. He will forgive. You have to know God for yourself. You cannot listen to what people are saying. This is so true. Very demonic ways. I'm one that is turned off from a long time. They have to remember life is short these days. Today we are here, tomorrow we are gone. Some of the judges, them sin so that the sinners, I don't understand what you mean by the Bible says do not judge. Amen. Exactly. And they are the most judgmental. The most judgmental. You understand? No, mind you, me judge too, you know. But me a sinner. Tell me that lie. Yeah. But even so, I don't judge as much as I find that their judgment is more extreme and harsher. You understand? It's not expected of me because I am still not a Christian, right? Still very much a sinner. But when they claim to say that them born again, them baptized, I like say, me no know, want to get baptized by? Wanna baptized in a fire? Huh? I'm not baptized in the Holy Spirit, and baptized in the fire from straight down in a hell. Boiling in Satan's juices. Done are closer to God than enough for them because our heart more clean. Yes. And I'm just wondering why it is that so many people are so concerned about this woman's soul rather than looking at their own. I don't get it. What's with you people? Be concerned about your path to the pearly gates. Some of you are closer to the pearly gates than she is. You know? Be more concerned about your own path to the pearly gates than somebody else's path to the pearly gates. It's not our business. But I couldn't believe the comment. The comment to me was it was so low. And even of you, I didn't expect that. And then in the next breath, they might talk about God and being saved and baptized. Oh, God saved them. Bombastic side eye. All right. This is the part now where I want my very decent folk to leave the live. What I left you now? Don't stay. Don't stay. Come I go off topic now. Me finish deal with the important bits. Me deal with the Judas. Me deal with the blind. And me deal with the backslider. No, me go deal with something else. Right? Right? Okay. So if you know that you're a decent person and you can't really deal with certain things, now's the time to backside. So me I tell you if you exit and the live number go up. But you see said you see said social media is the devil's playground. You see that? 500 no, I'm not gonna continue. Okay, good. Right. Uno go on. Good. Okay. 514. Yes, me like that. Okay, so now the 514 that are here, I'm not going to start because the light them need for go up before me open my mouth. Una not being nice to head teacher K, you know. So many of Una are present. My admin them a beg Una please to like up the live. Remember, say over here we don't beg super chat and all these things, you know. And all we ask is that you like up the live so that you can bounce up the algorithms, please and thanks. Because I'm going to deal with some little crowbaits, some little Jezebels on social media who insist on calling my name in their mouth. And I'm not going to start until I like up the live. All right? What if you're half decent? Carrie, you can't stay then. Come and you know HDK. I don't swear and me not dip up under people. So you can you can remain if you're half decent. You understand? Yeah, but if you're fully decent and you're a Christian, this segment is not for you. And I'm gonna do this segment without even recognizing your name because you're not worth my energy. But I still think that you need to have yourself sent in. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to come out here and argue with any individual whose hairline is running away from their face. I said it. You cannot come out here and comment on the fact that I braid my hair, I must get decent wigs, and you are such an empty vessel. And because you're an empty vessel, you make the most noise. Empty vessels make the most noise. See you, the lowest of the low, who insist on coming out here and calling my name, and I don't see you. If people don't send me your nonsense because you call my name, I don't see you because you're not important to me. And the only time you ever get a view is when you call HTK's name in that frownsy mouth of yours that needs some denture work. So I'm going to tell you straight up, Miss Madame, instead of you finding me, go and find your hairline and take those wigs off. Because you see me with my crochet braids, my natural crown underneath this north. You hear what me I say? And my hairline is very much present. Yeah? I do not have to wear filters to come out here and show my face. Yes? So you can't give no beauty tips to anybody when you have to hide behind Mark Zuckerberg filter in order to claim say you pretty. You hear what me I say? I don't give a toss how beautiful you think you are. You are dirty on the inside. You're a junker yourself. And if you think that you can come out here and call me wingless junker, well, you are a junker reprobate. How about that? How about that? You think say any girl we dash we belly and put it in a plastic bag can talk to me? Why you don't tell your followers that, Miss Dunspan any side? Why you don't tell your followers that you're busy trying to give yourself a makeover when the whole of your inside them drop out down a Riverton City in a plastic bag? Why you don't tell people that? Why you don't tell people that you hitch up in a white man house, yeah? And he run left you because you're not worth it. How about that? Council trash. Let me tell you something. Some of you on here don't know your place. Yes, you were given strikes because you're out of order. If you had approached any of my content with respect, I would never have strike. You know how much other people play my content? I'm gonna strike them. But you come out here, you disrespect everybody, and that's why you are vile. And that's why nobody can stand you. That's why you go up on somebody's page and then call your dog as you turn up. And it was a fitting description. Them should have had mongrel in front of it. Out here looking like a flipping cyborg. Yeah? And having to cover that cyborg forehead with a wig and think that you're nice. Huh? After you put up 33 times 3 picture and talk about Teletubbies with your disrespectful self. Out here constantly talking about people's bodies and body shaming people. You think you have the audacity to even step to me. I don't need to prove my academic qualifications to you. You can never and will never in your lifetime achieve them. And I paid for mine. I have nothing outstanding. How dare you? You think all of us come to foreign for take, man? Some of us come here and actually get something in our brains. Miss Strain ahead. You're right when you say that your head is like a sieve. Every blasted thing drop out. Who the hell do you think you are? This is the last rubbing you're going to get from me, you know. After this, you're definitely dead to me. Yeah? I leave you there with the tree picking them where you dash way. You understand? Before you're focusing on going to complete that house. Well, speak my mind, show everybody. You're there running your little stinking mouth. I told you I was not going to behave. I said what I said. Some of you out here think that anybody afraid I will know. If I was as wicked as you think, I would have already reported you to your employers. I just pointed out how dunce you were by coming out here and disrespecting people in your uniform with your full logo. You are so thick that you don't even know the difference between a content creator and a blogger. That's how dense you are. And you are the only person that I have ever referred to as dunce, because you truly own the title. Some of you out here are too disrespectful. You don't know how to come out and debate and hold a civil conversation and to raise a point without having to tear down somebody else. That is why you got several strikes from YMK. And that's why you get strike from Lady V, the very same person who said you should be poisoned and you're there calling her name. You should have shame, all idiots. You should have shame. After somebody actually wish you death. Did I wish you death? Did I ever wish you death? You damn maggot. Under no circumstance did I ever do that, nor will I ever. But somebody who said that you should have get poison. Other person, that is why I know say you waste of time, you know. Because you never know when people can stand the very ground you walk on. No matter how much Lady V cuss me, Lady V and me end up attack. And then me take one myself because I'm in a pasa. She talk back to you? Huh? Old vermin. Go and hitch up in a little council house in the South Tottenham and don't make me dash out your details because I will do it. You keep messing with the wrong one. And one day, you're going to learn your solid lesson. You are so mentally deranged. And you have got these weird concepts in your head that you think so you're nice. All foot, all mutton dressed as lamb. No matter how much you might think that you have a better body than anybody, me try to tell you straight, so you're not tight and right like me. Because if you did, the man would have tan. Go. I said what I said. You have to call my name to get a like. You have to call my name to get a view. You claim that I have no content, but without me, you're nothing, and you keep proving it. You keep proving it. The only time you ever get any comments is when you're talking about HTK. I don't do women. Yes? Jump off of my clitoris because you must be gay. I don't do women. Anyway, so I'm gonna behave myself though, Lord God. Listen, that's why I don't get angry. I'm not even that angry. You know what I'm saying? Right? I'm not even that angry. Left me with my 5 pound here and my cheap clothes and my fat self because even though I still have the good up and I still have the glue and the man still left. Uvex. Eh? And you ain't never had one as fine. Do one. Where pretty looks and no sense ago. No man no want that. Hmm? You can't build an empire beside nobody because you're not hand nothing up yourself. Hmm? Some of the biggest, fattest, ugliest, crustiest still are more than you. Still have more depth than you, more sense than you. And some man would have never left them or look on your little empty ass. Now this wealth. Get out of here. Anyway, you see, I'm telling you, figure about on the business. And the whole I want to hitch up over here, mighty God of Daniel. No one, holy papi, been telling us I want to leave class. Because at this point, I was going to be putting down the crown temporarily. And then I will be reassigning it. And now the whole I want to hitch up over here, it is not right. It's a Robin she wants, it's a Robin she go and get, you understand? And then after this, me go left her to the rest of them, what me know, so them I go rub and scrub her because she deserve it. Right? You understand? I don't have to wear no filter out here. The one time you come out with filter, you favor predator. Right? You could have land a whole plane by your head. Junker draw breaks. Find your hairline before you find my name in your mouth. This is your girl, Head Teacher K. Good night. Like up the life, people. Me gone.